very likely it will continue on to next year, and it is expected to contribute to more volatility in the ASEAN region, especially in emerging markets. So, does Bank Negara have any sort of measures that it can do to prevent us from being too susceptible to this sort of volatility?
The measures that we have done were done long before, and these are the measures of developing our financial markets so that they are deep and more matured and able to absorb this volatility. And this is a period of adjustment for the entire world, and therefore having a flexible exchange rate regime causes this adjustment in our currency. But when there's more certainty about policies in the major economies, then stability will be restored. And during that time, we will have the currency will better reflect our fundamentals. Now, I've stated the fundamentals time and again. We've been growing around 5% for several years now, more than 5 years, the average of 5% growth. We have a solid and strong and resilient financial system. We have high level of reserves, and that's what reserves are for, to represent buffers during this period. We've told the private sector they have to build up their buffers, and they have to understand the markets that there will be periods when our currency appreciated, we appreciated much more than others. And so now the depreciation, we are depreciating more than others. So there's no intention of moving to a less flexible regime like pegged exchange rate regime. There's no intention to move. The fact that we can adjust allows the rest of our economy to remain more stable, because if you can't adjust your currency, what will adjust? Demand will adjust, prices will adjust. There are three factors that will adjust when we have external developments: prices, that is domestic prices, demand, aggregate demand, and the exchange rate. So if you can't adjust the exchange rate, the other two will adjust, and the consequences will be worse.
Sorry, foreign reserves are coming out again. Would you any hint on the levels, and if it falls below the $100 billion mark again, are you worried about the sentiment of the people?
No, we have highlighted, and we've seen it come below 100 before.
Yes.
It's gone to about 80 before. And this is what the reserves are for. We have held more than the amount of reserves our country needs, precisely for reversals, because we receive surges of inflows, and that's why the reserves increase. So now when we're having reversals of flows, then the reserves will decrease. So we've seen it decrease before, and there's no issue to be concerned, because that's what the reserves are there for, to represent a buffer, to adjust during such periods.